All right, this podcast is going to cover scanning with OpenVAS. The prerequisite to doing this stuff is to have actually started OpenVAS and followed the steps in the web link I told you to find to make sure you started and updated it. Essentially, oh, that wasn't right. Essentially, heck is the oh, let's scroll up. Essentially, if you go to Applications, Kali Linux, vulnerability analysis, OpenVAS initial setup. We'll do the initial setup. Then later on, if you come back and you need to restart it after you turn the machine off, you can do start and stop. Once you do that, you open a browser. Open your browser, which is this button up here for the Iceweasel, I guess they call it. Yeah, Iceweasel. That button's on your browser. And then HTTPS localhost port 9392, and that gets you this to window. So you type admin and then whatever you set the password to when you did the install. It's gonna be a hard time for me to show you this stuff if I didn't set the password. If I can't remember my password, there we go. That's what I set my password to. So once you get in here, I've already run some scans, so I'll delete these. All right, once you get in here, first thing you want to do if you follow the instructions is go to update these guys, NVT feed, right, SCAP feed, and the cert feed. I'm not going to update those because I updated those like 3 days ago. You need to make sure you're connected to a network that has external access. The network we're using for scanning the virtual area for guests that we have is not connected out to the internet, so you may need to put your box back on the hack network in order to get it connected to the internet to download those updates. But then once you are ready to scan, you pretty much come over here, and the easiest thing to do is to put in an IP address that you want to scan. I told you to scan 101. Put in an IP address and click Start Scan. If you read down here, it says, for this shortcut, I will do the following for you. Create a new target with the default port list. Configure a new task using the target with default scan configuration. Start this scan task right away. All right, so basically this is doing a lot of work for you. So hopefully this is going to work. Sometimes this takes a while. So I'll sing you guys a song to keep you entertained while it's scanning. And it goes a little something like this. I'm just kidding, I'm not going to sing. So anyway, it scans. It says refresh every 30 seconds, so in theory it should refresh every 30 seconds. If you're not sure what's going on, you can hit the button and it should refresh. Other than this GUI web interface thing, there's another GUI that I will show you while this is scanning, just because I don't have anything else to talk about while it's scanning. If you go to OpenVAS and there's an open, what? Huh. There used to be an OpenVAS client. Maybe they got rid of that because it was hard to use, and they just want you to use the the OpenVAS. No, nope. Never mind. There was an OpenVAS client I used before. It's not very user friendly. I had a hard time figuring out what I needed to do in there, so I didn't really like it. So I guess you don't have to worry about that. But essentially, if you didn't use this little wizard and you wanted to create a new scan, you'd have to go over to Asset Management, Host, right? Create a new configuration, targets, configuration targets. Create a new target. Create a new target like server 1. Target. That's actually creating a filter. Yeah. Okay, new target. I clicked on the wrong star. I clicked on the star over here. Oh, that was the filter. So yeah, so you create a new target, server, you know, port list, what you want to scan on that. If you want to do a credentialed scan, you can add credentials, which you added somewhere else. So basically, if you want to do a credentialed scan, you give it a password, like root's password, and it can log into the box and do a more thorough scan than it can just from the outside. We're not going to do that today. Put the IP address, and you create the target. Alright, so now I have the target there. I've set what I want it to look at. If I want to edit that, imagine I can edit that. Edit. And then change it. So if I want to change the ports, I could go to, hey, whatever this OpenVAS default is, TCP, you know, whatever you want to do. Yeah. Sure, you can create new port lists. So once you have the server, you need a task. Tasks. New task. And we'll create a new task to scan that server. Server 98. What kind of scan you want to do? Full and very deep. Or full and very deep ultimate. Let's do full and fast. Pick the target, server, alerts, schedule, all that stuff. So I guess you can schedule when you want to scan and have it send alerts. You know, add results to asset management. So that kind of keeps track of what's changed in the host. So if something changes, you can investigate that. We create the task, and now if we go over here, we have this new task. It hasn't been scheduled yet, so if you want this new task to run, hit the play button, and it'll start that task, I guess. We'll go ahead and scan. I'll go ahead and scan that too for fun. This one's 66% right now, so we got a bit of time to go before it'll be done. So while we're doing that, we'll skip ahead for a minute. Number 15 says connect a Windows PC to the RichNet. Conveniently, I already have a Windows PC connected to the RichNet, so as long as it didn't lose its IP, right? So it can still ping the RichNet. So with this Windows PC, we're going to use nbtstat to interrogate a couple of Windows machines. Right? If we type nbtstat, what's the Windows thing? /?, it tells us some stuff. The main thing we're going to be worried about is list the remote machine's name table given its name, or list the remote machine's name table given its IP address. So we have the IP address, so we're going to do a $A, and then we're going to put the IP. Right? So then it tells us some information. And you might look at that and be like, well, that's stupid. It just says it's kind of the same stuff over and over again. Well, yeah, it does. But if you look at this code here, those codes mean something. So in the current version of the textbook, if you go to the enumeration chapter, which is chapter 6, if you look at the table of useless nonsense, I don't think that's what they actually call it. Oh, there it is, table 6.2, net BIOS names and suffixes. You can see that those numbers mean something. So 00 means it's the computer name. 20 means registered by the server service. A computer must have this service running to share printers or files. And then we have this other thing. We have some other in 00. It's the name 1C. 1C, oh, that means this is a domain controller, so that's kind of interesting. 1E, browser service selection is running. 1D, this is the domain master browser. Sounds exciting. 01, this is the master browser. 1B, domain master browser. Man, they got a lot of things for domain master browser. 1B and 1D are the exact same thing. Pretty awesome. So then we'll do that again for the other machine. 1.2, this has less stuff. So this has 1C, which also means it's a domain controller. 20 is a server service, and 1B, domain master browser. So that's pretty exciting. And then there's one more Windows machine, 3. This is just a workstation, and essentially we don't really have anything exciting on there. 1E, browser services election is running. 1C indicates that IIS is running. Did I say 1C? No, 1D. Sorry, 1D. domain master browser. So yeah, pretty unexciting stuff. But you can get useful information from this. Now that I know that these guys up here are domain controllers, I could use some other tools to try to extract password hashes from them and that kind of thing. I could also, you know, maybe do a denial of service on it or use that in some social engineering activity. Knowing that it's a domain controller might be helpful. So let's go back to our scan and see what's going on. All right, this one's done. Threat level is high. What is the threat level? High. Click on the magnifying glass icon. That was a trash. Please don't. Ah! It should have popped up and said, "Are you sure?" Oh, that's terrible. All right, well, now we got to wait for this one to finish. So while we're waiting for this one to finish, let's look at Nessus. This is another scanner. It's not free anymore. The book talks about it being free for personal use and blah, blah, blah. Well, their new model is that you can get it for free for a week, and then you have to pay for the subscription to get the updated feeds. So I've only had it for 2 days. So I don't know if it'll completely quit working after it expires or if I just won't get updated vulnerability information. So this tool is a commercial tool. It used to be free. It used to be a lot different. I don't know if I say a lot different. It used to be a free tool, just like any of these other tools we use, but they took it the commercial route. So apparently OpenVAS spun out of that to kind of keep a free tool out there. So Nessus is a commercial tool. If we look at a scan I ran the other day, I ran the scan, this list of vulnerabilities. I have 17 critical vulnerabilities, 114 high, 42 medium, and 186 informational items, which kind of makes sense because these servers haven't been updated since I installed them because, hey, you know what, we're in a lab environment and they're on the RichNet, so, you know, big deal. So if you click on it, it tells you what the issues are. This has a critical service pack out of date. You know, tons and tons and tons and tons of missing patches. So yeah, this is not a well-maintained server by any stretch of the imagination. So I guess if you click on that, it tells you about that. So you click on whatever vulnerability you have, it tells you about hey, that file has not been patched, and there's a link to the security bulletin. It's port 445 that's vulnerable for that. If you're interested in all hosts, you click on that. I guess it'll tell you if that port was on, what other host that port was on. But I don't have any other scans, so I don't worry about that too much. So yeah, that's if you were scanning network, you found this, you should probably get somebody fired for that. I'm just kidding, kind of. All right, we're almost done with the scan over here of the box from the thing. Hopefully I won't hit the delete this time. We'll actually look at the results of the scan. All right, you know what? We'll keep going while we're waiting because there's one more task for us to complete, unless this is done right now. All right, it says one more task. It says to complete. It says connect the PC. Oh wait, scan your Windows box. So whichever Windows machine you connected to the RichNet, scan it. So if we go back over to find my Windows PC, which I must have minimized. ipconfig 253.11, right? .253.11. We'll go find my other window. Hey, let's use this lame thing. No, I don't want to do that. We're using map. Close. 253.11. There we go. We'll just do a Syn Scan and see how noisy, how how many ports show up on that. We'll let that run while we come see if this is done. Notice it gets to 98% and then it kind of hangs out for a while. So yeah. All right, so my Windows machine had a bunch of ports open. So let's go look and see if we can make it quieter. So we'll go to the control panel, system and security, firewall. See what settings go. Oh, the firewall's not even on. That's a problem. Let's turn this guy back on. Turn on. Turn on. Okay. All right, so why are we doing this? Well, this is a, what's the name of this class? I don't remember what the name of this class is. Information Security Administration. So we want to be on the defensive side. So how do we keep people from scanning us? Well, we limit what they can connect to, right? We say, oh no, Mr. Nmap, you can't ask my ports questions because we have a firewall. So my Windows machine, that's taking forever. My Windows machine was vulnerable to scanning. So I added, so hey, look at that. It scanned it, but none of the ports are open. So all it got was the MAC address. And since we're on the same local area network, there's really no way we can prevent that. So, hey, there you go. You want to prevent port scans? Get a firewall, configure it properly. You'll prevent port scans. Jeez, it's taking forever. All right. That's a magnifying glass anyway. You know, now I think about it, I think you can look at it as it's scanning. I should have remembered that sooner. Right? So this shows you, hey, it's going, it's still scanning. You can look at, where's this thing? Magnifying glass. Did I click on the magnifying glass? View for report. Okay, maybe I can't view your report until it's done. Oh, there we go. Scroll down. That's what I wanted. The magnifying glass again. And you can look at the full report or a filtered report. If you look at the difference, the full report has these two medium things, and then it has a bunch of informational stuff that may or may not be interesting, and the filtered report just has the medium things. You should look at both of them and see which one you think is more useful for your purposes. I'm going to look at the full report. It's going to open this thing. So, hey, there you go, full report. See what's wrong with my server. See, medium TCP timestamps. It was detected the host implements timestamps. Oh no. OpenSSH server force command handling information disclosure vulnerability. Oh no. According to the banner, the version of OpenSSH installed on the remote host is older than 5.7. So there's a issue with that version of SSH. So in theory, you should be updating your OpenSSH if you have this, if you're interested in securing the server. Then we got all this log stuff. ICMP based fingerprint tells us it's Linux. Let's see, no UDP ports found. There's the route from the host. TCP ports open are 22. Remote SSH supports the following protocol versions. Supports authentication, password, or public key. There's no banner. If I had a banner that said, this is a security protected system, blah, blah, blah. Like I said, with Nmap, you can, or maybe, whenever I was talking about, Nessus, was it Nessus I was talking about? Whenever I was talking about credentials, you could supply credentials so somebody could log into the server and then they could actually get more information. OpenSSH, ICMP timestamps, who cares? All right, so that's pretty much it for this lab. We'll run those tools in those ways and collect some information and write a report about it.